What's up, you all? I am ChiAurelia. Welcome to the Transformative Mindset Conversation podcast with me, Chi. It is TMC with Chi, inspired by the one and only Nipsey Hussle. He reminds me a lot of when Tupac said, "I won't be able to change the world, but I bet you I can inspire the mind of the one that will." And so, all of us collectively having endured the life of Nipsey and Tupac, it's up to us to really hone in on whatever gifts and things that we have and bring them forth to the world. So that is some of what created and inspired TMC with Chi. I have been on hiatus, y'all. I have not done a podcast episode since almost about a year ago when I was living in Atlanta. I'm back in the Bay Area now, born and raised in East Oakland. Like Too Short said, I come from East Oakland where the youngsters get hyphy. You feel me? So it feels good to be back. I let life, and it steered me away from doing the things that I won't say that I should have been doing, because if I should have been doing it, I would have been doing it. We are always in alignment with whatever we're supposed to be doing in that moment. And so now is the moment to hop back into things. God was like, listen, I didn't give you all these gifts and you're not giving them to the world. And I don't like that. Get back to it. So here we are about to do it. This is the first episode of season 2. Today is September 1st, and it is actually National Little Black Dress Day, which is something that has been founded by the Black Heart Association in an effort to encourage women of African descent to get tested for early signs of stroke and just taking better care of themselves and being aware of their own cardiovascular health and what that means to them, how they can do better with it, right? So today we're going to be getting into, for those of you that are new, we're going to be getting into who is ChiAurelia and why have I chosen personal development as a key focus. Some of you all may know that I am a personal development coach as well as a youth mentor, in addition to being a career development specialist in my 9 to 5, in addition to being a millennial melanated mother. What else? I'm a poet. Let's see, career development specialist, speaker, podcast host, and guest. Of course, I've been on a plethora of podcasts. Shout out to all of those who have allowed me to grace their presence. Wellness with Bree, Heaven's World, God Nakir. I appreciate being able to show up and just authentically be me, and allowing that to resonate with all of those who have been audience members, whether that was virtually or in person. I do a lot of workshops within youth organizations and schools and youth centers and things of that nature here in the Bay Area. So if you're looking for somebody to facilitate a workshop, if you're looking for somebody to just come and speak and pour into people, that is definitely me in my calling. Just being able to communicate with others in a way that they feel seen, I feel is naturally what I am here to do. And I love doing that. I'm getting over in person, I'm like on fire. But online, I'm very kind of shy. And I think that is part of why it has taken me so long to start season 2. And so I am challenging myself as we get into this new season, this new month, to just do things that kind of scare me, or maybe I would not do so quickly. I'm currently listening to the Audible book by Shonda Rhimes, who is the writer for Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, Private Practice, and How to Get Away with Murder. And her book is titled The Year of Yes. And so that is encouraging me to say yes to things that I would not normally. I went on a random date with a random stranger the other day. I'll bring you guys, there'll be an episode about that, so stay tuned, because I said yes. He saw me, he asked, do you like theater? I'm going to a play next door. Would you like to come with me? I literally didn't have anything on my agenda other than drinking the green tea shot that I had bought at the bar that we were at. So I was like, okay, sure, I'll go. Worst come to worst, I can get up and leave. I'm not obligated to stay. But the play was about James Baldwin. So it's like, hey, I'm definitely down to check that out. As somebody from the Bay Area who has a deep knowledge of, just culturally what the civil rights movement embodied, the Black Panther Party. Like, I definitely was down to see James Baldwin, and especially on somebody else's tab. He bought my ticket to the show and he paid for my drink before asking if I wanted another one before we left, and then offered to take me to another play in San Francisco in the next couple of weeks. So we'll get into that another time. But right now we are talking about who am I? What is personal development? And that is part of personal development. Again, just stepping outside of your comfort zone, right? What does that mean to you? You'll see me referencing my notes. I am a very organized type of person. So even though this is a podcast, I have put together an agenda because that's just who I am. Another lovely thing about myself is I am the secretary on the board of Moms Living Single, which is a nonprofit organization out of the DMV metro area. And we provide services, events, and things of that nature to single parents, and just, providing them with the space to understand you are not in this alone. We are all doing it in our own way. There is no wrong or right way to parent. It's just more so about how can we lean on and support each other. So in being the secretary of that, I'm always like note taking or making agendas or making meeting notes or things of that nature. So it's just, it's as Nipsey said, it's in me. It's not on me. So yes. Oh, so before we even get into the titles of like, okay, I'm a career development specialist and, a speaker, podcast guest, and host, a personal development coach, a poet, a melanated millennial mother, I am just me. I'm a divine being. I'm a goddess. I am someone who really just loves to enjoy being more in the moment, or enjoying life, or just being a divine being. I don't really know how to explain it other than being a divine being, being a goddess, being tapped into knowing that God created me in his image. And so what Erica say, if he created us in his image, then call us by our name. Goddess is what that female feminine version would be of calling me in his name. And so just being connected to how God shows up within me, how I can go out into the world and see God in other things. Like, I think once you, regardless of what you call it, higher power, source, God, trees, the way the wind blows, like getting in tune with understanding that there is a higher being other than yourself will allow you to just kind of release control of having to be so, I guess, attached to things, in control of things. You just flow. There's a certain level of just flow and nonchalantness that comes with understanding God is going to spin the block and take care of me, take care of the situation. Where there is me, there is God. And where there is God, there is always a will, there is always a way, there is always another day, there is always the sun ray after the cloud. That was a little bit of a freestyle for you. There you go. So yes, I don't even really feel like I chose personal development. Well, first let's get into what is personal development. Personal development is really being able to examine and assess where you are in life right now and seeing a vision of where you want to go. You may not be able to see it 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. I'm about to be 35. I'm a lucky Libra, and today is September 1st. So I'm happy for the Virgos, because when the Virgos show up, that means I get to start thawing out. A Libra gonna Libra all year, but we do something extra saucy once September 23rd roll around. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't nothing like an October Libra. Shout out to all the Virgos, all the Libras. My daughter is a Scorpio. Bless her heart. The Sagittariuses and the Capricorns. Like this whole, I love too the fact that my birthday is before the traditional New Year, because it's just a continuous set of revamping myself, which goes into personal development, right? As your birthday comes, I treat it like it is a new year. You feel me? I treat it like it is a new year, because that is what it is. It's a new year, and then the holidays come around and we have January, and that's a new year. And then we have spring equinox, which is essentially another new year. So it's just a continuous set of where am I at right now? What have I been doing that has been working for me? What can I pull from that to continue keeping things working for me? And then what is it that I'm maybe not so like happy with or not really satisfied with, and why am I not satisfied with that? What can I do to be better, right? So if maybe your financials are like struggling right now, what have you been doing? Spending frivolously, not checking your bank account, not setting alerts to maybe after $100 for the day, you need an alert that stops your card. Certain things that you may not be doing are causing you to continue to be where you are. And so again, you may not have a vision for where you want to be in 5 years, but if you can just say by this time next month, I want to be able to say that I've saved $250, like that's little steps are better than no progress at all. I will always tell my clients that, my own coaches, a little bit of progress is better than no progress at all, hands down. So there are 7 different pillars of personal development. The ones that I like to focus on, at least, I feel like mentally and psychologically, those are one within the same, right? Where is your mental at? How are you feeling? Understand that every trend is not a trend you need to hop on. I hear people saying a lot, oh, I'm about to crash out. It's one thing to be very exhausted and you feel like you are spiraling out of control, but sometimes the way that I hear people use that phrase is like they're intentionally going to crash out. I am not about to put, and I know this is not the literal term of like being in traffic, but that's essentially what it is. You're saying that you're about to crash out. It's like you're stepping into chaos on purpose. There is no way in hell I'm about to step out into traffic on purpose and crash out. Why would I do that? I'll go take a nap before I crash out. Better please believe me. I will sleep it off and figure it out in the morning in the next 2 hours before I voluntarily crash out. So be mindful of what you consume and what you condone, because that becomes a part of your psychology, a part of the psychological being that you become, whatever it is you're enduring. So for me, I don't listen to rap music before 12. I wake up, I listen to some Michael Prince, because listening to Michael Prince is like the best thing ever, because he has this, he's a violinist, but he has like this hood way of the way he plays his violin over the beats. I don't need rap music because I end up freestyling all on my own. So smooth things like classical music. I listen to Apple Music actually has a separate app for classical musicians. So I usually tune into that. I might listen to Reverend Ike for some words of like encouragement and how to get more connected with God. I might pull up a Sarah Jakes Roberts sermon, but I'm doing things that feed my soul early in the morning. Another thing I really like to do is just sit outside. If it's not too cold, sit outside and just literally listening to the nature, to the birds, to the earth, to the wind, to the trees rustling, and that allows my mind to just free flow completely. I don't like listening to too much of other people in certain times of my own life, because although this song may really hit with what I'm going through right now, I'm listening to their thoughts. I'm ingesting what they're going through versus thinking about what it is that I'm actually going through and how I can wiggle my way out of this situation, or maybe what my options are with something that I have that's coming up, right? I am gonna get some of my water, because that's another part of personal development, right? Health. Your health is so important. As someone who has sickle cell, you will never see me without a water bottle. Staying hydrated is like, it's right up there with air and water. Air and water. I can't pick God, air, water, like in that order. As Mama D said, I can't do without any of them. So yeah, but your physical health is something that also plays into your mental health, as we all know, right? Like if you are not getting out and getting sunlight, if you're not exercising, if you're not doing things to help you sit on the couch and you eat and then you don't move around, or you sit at work and you eat and you don't get up and walk around, like it's a reason why people that have desk jobs end up 15 pounds heavier than when they first started. Now, me, I've been in my position for almost 10 years. I cannot seem to gain any weight. Not that I want to, but I'm just saying, I am one of those people at break time, I am walking around. At lunchtime, I don't want to hear about your child's soccer game because I got to go walk around. Like, I will always be on the go. I will get up and go to the copy machine just to get up and walk. And even when I'm standing at the copy machine, I might do the whole like stand on your toes and, go up and down thing to just continuously move my body. That's how important oxygen flowing within us is to ourselves. Like, you have to do those things in order to clear out everything else, right? 7 pillars: mentally and psychologically, emotionally, physically, financially, personally, parentally, sensually, sexually, and spiritually. Okay. So again, your physical health plays into your emotions, which plays into your mental. Financial, we talked about. Maybe you need to start budgeting. Maybe you need to kind of be more mindful of going on Amazon so much, or those types of things. Personally, I feel like it's different from mentally, and it's different from spiritually too, right? Because as a person, like, there's the human aspect of how we show up. Do we hang out with our friends? Do we check in? Do we have times where we socialize? And then when we are within ourselves, what are we doing to tap into that spiritual side of who we are? How do we connect and understand who we are as a spiritual being? Because whether you consider yourself to be spiritually, religious, any sort of Buddhism, Hinduism, Christian, any of those things coincide with the fact that you are a spiritual being, whether you understand that or not. And the sooner you begin to understand it, the sooner you can have an easier life experience, because you will understand that you're really not in control of this shit, like, at all whatsoever. Sometimes stuff be going crazy and I'd be like, all right, guys, you got it. Let me know when you need me to step back up to the plate, because clearly you didn't took over the cruise control right now, and that's okay. That is quite all right with me. I'm gonna sit back because I understand this ain't my show. I'm just a character. I am just a being. I am just a vessel. I am just someone you have chosen. Even when it comes to parentally parenting my own child who is 12, pray for me, okay? But even within that, I noticed that I have fallen back from trying to be not necessarily a dictator, but just kind of like we want our children to do certain things so that they can be citizens in this world who are not on one side of the bars versus the other side, or not experiencing a life that we know they could have avoided if they had listened to our guidance. So I understand that it's up to me to give the guidance, but then it's also up to me to fall back when things start going in another way. And I will literally just go in this closet and pray, because what you're not about to do is stress me out. I am a person before I am a parent, and that is exactly why I wrote financially, personally, and parentally, because as a person, I was a person before I was a parent. So I have to always remember to tap into who am I as a person in this season before I can focus on being a parent. Something that PS Love Jolie says, that I really love and resonate with, is that I don't prioritize motherhood because I can easily get lost in motherhood. I prioritize myself as a person before I prioritize myself as a mother, because if I'm not good as a person, all of this shit gonna be fucked up. Everybody gonna feel it. So if I say I need a little bit of time, so maybe I need a hot shower to relax, maybe I need to be able to just really like go on a walk alone. It doesn't mean I don't love you as my child, but I need to get back to me in order to show up for you. I need to get back to me in order to show up for you. And that's another thing, as a working parent. I don't rush into trying to do everything all at once. You have to understand that your rest ethic, the way that you rest, should go just as hard as your work ethic. So if you're like, oh yeah, my work ethic is good, I show up, I do all the things, I write the meeting notes, I got the agenda, I follow up on emails, All of those things are great, but is your rest ethic just as good as your work ethic? When I get home from work, the first thing I'm doing after I get in the door and get everything settled down, make sure everything is good, I'm taking me a hot shower. I need to decompress from my day. I need to be able to release. I need to wash all of that away, especially because I work in an industry where I'm consistently conversing with people. I'm ingesting people's current situations and I'm trying to help them move through those. Do I love this work? Absolutely. But do I understand that it's up to me to do what I need to do to release from that so that I'm not carrying that with me? It is so important to do an energy check within yourself. Sometimes I will have a client and they have shared a lot. Before I start processing any paperwork, I'm going to go outside and just let the rays of sun hit me, let the wind buzz in my ear. I'm going to do something to release that before I go begin to process. There's the phone call, then there's the paperwork, and then there's the follow-up with their other worker. I'm talking about as a career development specialist with the county right now. And even when I have my own personal development clients, like we do the voice notes back and forth, or we may have a Zoom call depending on what tier they're in. I'm going to take that moment to remember and remind myself that these are not my situations to carry. I will give you the advice. I will provide you with the resources. I will pray for it, for you in the situation, and I will release it because it's not mine to carry. Even the things that we go through in our own personal life are not ours to connect with and carry. You have to understand when it's time to detach so that you can move up into your next level of personal development, of elevation, of ascension. Like, all of those things are so very important. So again, parents, remember that you are a person before you are a parent. And even if you are not a parent, it is important to understand that you still have to check in with yourself parentally because you are someone's child. So as a child of someone who is still physically here, I check in with my mom. I can't talk to you every day for 45 minutes, but I will check in with her and make sure that she's good. I will, my father is passed, so the things that I believe and practice spiritually, I will do those things to continue to connect with him in a spiritual aspect. So again, even though you may not be a parent, you still have a parental connection, and it's important to check in with that and see how you're feeling. If your parent is somebody who continuously kind of needs you to be their parent, you have to check yourself emotionally. You have to check yourself energetically. If you're somebody who can kick it with your parents, y'all might be able to roll up and smoke together. That's beautiful. Have you checked in with them and kicked it with them, within the last 2 weeks, so that you continue to have, if it feels good, continue to do it. And if it's something that is hurting and harming you, understand when it's time to back away. Now, this next one I do want to touch on just briefly, but I'm going to have a separate podcast episode for that because I feel like there's so much to unpack within it, and just understanding how the three coincide, but they are my favorite. The three S's: sensually, sexually, and spiritually. And we did kind of tap into the spiritually a little bit earlier, but sensually could just be turning on some good music and lighting a candle and dancing, or, walking around naked. It ain't nothing like having space where you could just be in your entire being, and, not necessarily because you're about to get in the shower or you're about to get dressed, but just loving on yourself in a way that allows you to tap into your sensuality so that your chakras are balanced and not blocked, okay? Balanced and not blocked. So, I think that I love the fact that September 1st is a Sunday. I know that a lot of people believe that Sunday is the last day of the week, and you do all the work and then you rest on Sunday. I'm not telling anybody what to do or believe. However, for me, myself, and I, I like to think of Sunday as the beginning of the month of the week. I like to think of Sunday as the beginning of the week, because if I start off well rested, if I start off rejuvenated, if I start off pouring my cup, I can tackle everything that Monday through Saturday brings my way, because I'm already fueled with the ammunition that I need to move forward, versus working from an empty cup Monday through Saturday and then I get to rest on Sunday. You got me fucked up. Not you, not God, but just the idea The idea. Your life is yours to live. If you want to say that Wednesdays are the start of your week, say that, do that, act in that. What does that mean for you? What does that look like for you? Do you sit in the tub on a Wednesday morning to get your day started so that you can pour into yourself? Like, whatever you want to be the start, whatever you want to be, just make sure that you do it. Just make sure that you do it. Like, that's the bottom line. Are you doing it? Are you pouring into yourself? Are you fueling yourself with what you need to keep going? Because we're not burning out, we're not crashing out, we're not doing any of those things. We're going to make sure that we're checking in so that we can continue to develop as we need to. It's so hard to go through personal development when we're not checked in with who we are as a person. So pour into yourself. Okay, pour into yourself. One of the things I kind of got off track with my agenda, but I did want to just talk about how I even got into personal development. I was 22 when I had my daughter, and although I was in college and I was working, I was living off campus in a house, and I had me a Buick. I had a Buick Regal. It was giving me old school hyphy movement vibes because that was one of the most popular cars that everybody had as a scraper. So, here I am thinking I'm doing me and being a grown up until the responsibility of having a child comes along. And not only was it the responsibility of having a child, it was the responsibility of having a child with someone who I later discovered I was not in alignment with. And that was because I was not in alignment with myself. At 22, I had not taken the time to truly understand me. And that was because I didn't know that that was something I was even supposed to be doing. I didn't know that that was something that people even did. It was just like, well, shit, I'm in college. I know I like brown liquor versus light. I know I like athletes versus like whatever. I don't know. So becoming a mother definitely was one of those moments where I had to assess, where am I at right now and where do I want to see myself going? So to work myself through the situations of leaving a domestically violent relationship, elevating within myself, because I wasn't always the nicest person either. So working through my own emotions, being open to seeking help and asking for help when I needed it. There are sometimes situations that we will go through and we will have to humble ourselves and go back to our mother or go back to our father or go back to granny, or even if it's going to someone at work and asking for guidance, asking for mentorship, like knowing what we need and then navigating how to find it so that we can help ourselves is what's most important. Sometimes you're just gonna have to swallow your pride and do that. And so within that, I ended up leaving. I was in Texas going to an HBCU, and I came back to the Bay Area, and I was at home. And just through receiving welfare, I ended up having a lot of different people pour into me. They saw my hunger for wanting more. They saw that I understood that this is a stepping stool. This is not a continuous thing that I want to keep receiving and keep being a part of. I kept telling the lady, she was a job developer, and she would call me like, hey, Jamba Juice is hiring, Ross is hiring. I said, that's cool, but like, I want to do what you're doing. I want to help people in the way that you are helping me. Like, how do I get in with the county, right? I was doing work experience in a nonprofit organization where I was doing like case management. So we would bring in individuals who wanted to learn like fiber optic training to work for Comcast, and we would provide them with the training and then pair them with the community college, and then they would get certified and we would help with job placement. And that was cool, but it was work experience. The minute that man offered me a contract where he was going to pay me, the county also opened up a pilot program called the CalWorks Public Service Trainee Program, where they took people who were receiving welfare, they gave them county training, and they then put them into internships. So my internship was going to be in the training department. And at the very last minute, they were like, okay, well, we have a board of supervisor who wants an intern and we're going to send you, Miss Spencer. And I'm like, why would you send me to a politician's office? That's like the top of the top. This man helps to run the county in addition to this program that I'm a part of. And they're like, well, we know that you can articulate yourself well. You're very educated. You're very for the people. This will be a good space for you. I was so nervous. I was so completely nervous. But do you know I bodied that internship and that man offered me a full-time position? I'm not a politician person though, so I declined it because I had also been putting in the work to become an eligibility services technician. I wanted to really be able to help people within, like, okay, you're receiving this aid. These are the resources you need. This is how you can get off of this quickly by, like, what can I do to pour into you so you can get through your self-sufficiency journey quickly. So I did that, but I did that in foster care. That was very tumultuous. Reading court cases about why children have been separated from their parents, it was a lot. So I ended up applying for a different position called an employment counselor. I promoted into that, and that was more like I could really help you. Like I could put some money on your EBT card right now and you could go get shoes and clothes for the interview that you got on Thursday. You could call me back and we could talk about the questions and I can help you practice for the interview. You don't have no car right now, so you on bus and BART? Okay, cool. I'm about to put some more money on your EBT card so you can go get a bus pass or, a Clipper card. Or like I was really able to really like pour into people in the way that they needed it in order to get to where they wanted to go. But as I was doing that, I was looking at these situations, and on one hand, my boss, not my actual boss, but like because I work for a government agency, I'm following the California state regulations. California state regulations say that this person needs to be working 30 hours a week or 20 hours a week, or because it's two parents in a home, 35 hours a week. And that's all we care about. How many hours did they go to work this week? But I got this lady on my phone telling me about how this is going on with her stepdad, and this is the things that are happening with her child, and this person just lost their house because their husband was killed. Like, these people have personal situations that need to be addressed before we can ask them to show up to work or to go to school or to get any type of work experience or community service done. How can we help these people holistically on a personal level? How can we help them personally before we require them to do anything professionally? So I got into the counseling part of it because I'm continuously helping people navigate their life. Getting you a job ain't nothing. Ross always hiring. Safeway is always hiring. Amazon is always hiring. Getting a job is not the hard part. It's figuring out how to get you out of the mindset that you're in right now so that you can elevate. So when I was able to help people in that way, and they're calling me back like, hey, Miss Spencer, I did X, Y, and Z. I've been going to therapy. I just graduated my course. Those were the types of things that really made me happy and satisfied and feeling like I'm really making a difference for somebody. To call me back and tell me you just graduated your nursing program. Girl, what? You better do that. You better elevate. You better develop personally because you took care of everything holistically on just like all around. And so as I began to kind of like implement ideas, of course, in a corporate workspace, and I don't know if you would consider that corporate, it's not like your blue collar type of job, but it's the workplace, right? There's always that culture of this is what we've always done. This is what we will continue to do because this is what we've always done. Like, get with this program, go over there and be quiet. We ain't really got time to be implementing innovative ideas, okay? We following these rules because this is how we've always done it. Some of these forms I would be filling out literally said that the last time that they were revised were 1998. Do you know where I was in 1998? Elementary school, okay? Elementary school. Why are we operating from a mindset of 1998 when it's 2002, 2020, 2021? Like, it really frustrated me and it really pissed me the fuck off. So I was like, I'm done with this shit. I'm not doing this no more. And I took a leave of absence, and that's when I really started to cultivate like what it is that I want to do for myself on a. And I remember having a supervisor, and he asked me, he was like, yo, if you won the lottery, like what would you do? Would you still work? And I was like, yeah, of course. Like I always want to be able to help people. And at that time, my mindset was just on actually coming to that job, showing up at that job. But now that I've had the time to elevate myself as a person, I understand it's okay to walk away from the typical 40-hour a week paid benefits, and it ain't really paid shit. They taking my money. Why am I spending $300 $400 on insurance when I work for y'all? Y'all should be paying for me. Pay for me, I'll pay for my kid. Like it should be something. Why am I coming out of pocket for everything? They do help with the retirement though, but even with all of that, it is not enough to fuel me on a spiritual level, on a level of understanding that there is more to life than having a government job. Like it's cool, but I can't help people the way that I really want to. And that is when I decided that I was going to go through just all of the motions of doing this in my own way, becoming more less of a career development specialist, how they have me categorized, and becoming more of a personal development coach, what I've already been doing. Because it's nothing for me to help you do your resume and a cover letter. We can get you set professionally, but let's work on you personally. So I am very happy that I took that leap. I don't think I've ever been this happy, because on a personal level, again, I'm understanding that I'm not in control of everything, and when I can release control and allow God to move, I know that nothing that is meant for me is going to miss me. And I know that there are people out there that are waiting on me to share my God-given gift with them of communication, seeing them for who they are, and sometimes reminding them of what they may not see. It's crazy how we look in the mirror every single day and we don't see ourselves the way that other people see us. We will never see ourselves truly the way that people see us. I know that I'm a dynamic speaker. I know that I can do great things, but sometimes even I get really like timid about the fact that I'm being called to do something, or that somebody resonated so well with something that I did for them or said to them. It's like, damn, for real? Me? So I want to be that for other people. I'm like that little bucket in the garden that you take and you dump it and all the water just shoots out like a shower head. Let me pour into you, you know? So I hope that you have been able to take something from this. I'm open to questions. You can drop them in the comments. I'll be linking all my information below. Things that I have that are coming up at this time. If you want to stay connected with me, my link tree is up there, so you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok. Please subscribe to my YouTube. Let me know what it is that you're in need of, things that you may have been looking for guidance on. Just I'm here to help. Like I'm genuinely here to help. Because I know what it is to be in a position where I felt like, damn, if somebody could just help me, like I'm gonna take the knowledge and I'm gonna run with it, but I just need it. I need somebody to give it to me first. So things that I have going on at this time, on this coming Friday, if you are in the Bay Area, I will be performing at the New Hope Women in Action variety show. It's going to be Saturday, September 7th. Doors open at 6 p.m. If you're interested in going, please DM me on Instagram, and I can put you in contact with the person that is in charge of ticketing and everything. Tickets are $20. If you need a sliding scale situation or something, just talk to her. You know, talk to me. Let me know. I can help you out too. But I will be performing a piece of poetry that I have written. And that is, again, at the New Hope Women in Action variety show on Saturday, September 7th at 6 p.m. It's in Richmond, California. Let's see. If you want to be a guest on the TMC with Chi podcast, definitely let me know. There's going to be a link below for that as well. If there's someone who you would like to suggest as a guest, please also provide that information. If you are someone who has a podcast and you would like for me to be a guest, I would love to do that. Let me know, what you're thinking of topic wise. If there are any specific burning questions, I would love to pour into others through pouring into you. Let's see. Okay, and then the last thing, I have 5 remaining slots for the month of September for one-on-one personal development coaching, and that does come with so we do a consultation at the beginning just to make sure that we're a good fit for each other, right? I want you to be able to interview me just as much as I'm going to be able to ask you questions and see where you're at, what your desired goals are, things of that nature. And then moving forward, if we are a good fit for the month of September, I am doing your first 2 weeks of personal development training will be completely free. I'm just looking for you to make sure that this is a good fit, right? Before we really get into the nitty gritty of getting that work done, because I understand how, it's kind of like with therapy. When you first get to therapy, you can't just work, everything that's been going on for X amount of time, right? You kind of got to ease into it. And so as we continue to work together over those 2 weeks, you'll be able to see if this is something that you can ease into and be vulnerable with, or if you feel like for whatever reason, everyone is not in alignment, and I understand that. So I just want to make sure that you as the client are comfortable, because I don't play. I'm not going to force you to do anything, but there will be action steps. There will be work to implement, and it's really up to you to decide how far you want to go. So until next time, please remember that the key to your authenticity is just to be free. The key to being free is your authenticity. So thank you so much for tuning in to the TMC with Chi, the podcast. And until next time, peace.